six, five, four, three, two, one.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning to you. Happy Tuesday. Think about that. John Root, I thought you were hunting, John. Or is that next? You said next week, a couple days. Okay, John's going. John Root sends me this picture of this big, huge freaking elk or moose. I don't know what it was, but it was a very big animal with big antlers. And he says, "This is what I'm going after next week." I was like, "That poor thing has no idea what's about to happen to him." Especially John being in the military. Oh, like I don't mess around with that man. That poor animal. Bring some back though. I like to eat some. Just joking, Sherry. That sounds very vicious, right, Heather? It sounds vicious, but I'd still take it. What up, Dawn? Good morning to you. Say good morning in the chat, right, chat? You never know. You
Yeah,
you
good morning.
don't know who you got on here, right? You don't know. You can't judge a book by a cover. Good morning, Heather. Let me just tell you, Heather, she's a dancer. Bet you didn't know that. I've seen her on the dance floor in Nashville, and just a different world out there, John Hart. Let me just tell you, different world over there. Fran, I could say this, Fran, sometimes if you get her riled up, she's got a potty mouth. She'll tell you exactly how you feel. And I like that, Fran. I do like that. Sometimes I need to hear that. So good morning to you all. Good morning to you. What up, Michelle? Good morning. David, what up, brother? It seems like I just saw you like 12 hours ago. Wait a minute. I did. I did see you about 12 hours ago. So good morning to you. Good morning to you. Louie, what up? Maria. Shout out to Maria. Gotta have a couple drinks, though. I hear you. Gretchen, shout out to Gretchen. Coach Sonona in the house from up in New York. Hopefully it's not snowing up there, Coach. I just, every time I look, I'm complaining about some of the cold weather here. But I know it's not as cold as it is up there. So good morning to you, brother. Thank you for being on here. James, saw James earlier too, or 12 hours ago. Dennis, good morning to you. Make sure you say good morning in the chat because Kat told me, well, Kat did, and I'm gonna be honest with you. John Root, he gets a little feisty on me if I don't, not John Root, John Hart, John Hart. I get my Johns mixed up. John Hart's like, he'll send me a text, Brock. You didn't tell everybody to say good morning. I like when people say good morning. I said, John Hart, I'm going to do that for sure. So good morning to you. Like he's shaking his head. He knows though. He likes when he sees those good mornings. So say good morning in the chat. Let's break some records in the chat today. Let's get fired up in the chat. We got a couple new people on here. If you're new, Tim, I know Tim's not new, but I just saw Tim's face. I got excited when I saw Tim. If you're new, Louis going to tell us the temperature. It can't be as cold as it is up in freaking Alaska. They're having like the second coldest in history in Fairbanks, Alaska. So if you're thinking about it, don't go to Alaska right now. I'm just telling you, don't go. It's extremely cold. If you don't believe me, call Colin. Just call Colin. He sent me a picture like the forecast. He likes to send that to me. Why? Because I like the weather. I do like the weather. I get it from my mom. Rob, you better get some sunscreen. We got half Rob, or just tell that sun half your face is only going to be sunscreen, but only half your face. Better work on that. It's good seeing you last night, brother. Good seeing you. I saw several of you at 8 o'clock at night Eastern time. And Jim Morris, he just kept on talking. And I was like, Jim, I gotta go. I go, the missus is not happy with me. It's 8 o'clock and I'm still on Zoom. Like I'm gonna get in trouble. But what a great meeting we had with our Nashville agents. Been very blessed since our summit on where that's growing and going, and just thankful to be able to spend some time with you all. So, good morning to everybody. I got a big announcement. Put it in your calendar. Our study hall, our first ever study hall. Drop a five in the chat if you're going to our study hall tonight. Put a five in the chat if you're going to our study hall. I've decided to. I've been thinking about. I was at the gym today. It's gonna be like a BNI group on steroids. I'm gonna do it the way that I want to do it. I'm gonna do it like kind of like when I go into those things, I'm like, this is stupid. Like I want to do some like crazy stuff. So for those of you who are coming tonight, just be ready because I'm gonna freaking make you feel so uncomfortable that you're gonna be like, I gotta get back here. I gotta get back here. Brock's a lunatic. He's crazy, but I like him. I like him. So we're going to do that today. So if you're not able to join us, so sorry. But next month we are actually going to do one every other month. We're going to do one nationally. So we're going to do one. I got a great lineup already of speakers. A lot of them you've seen at the summit. So Nona, don't worry. I haven't talked to you yet. So when you're like, wait a minute, he didn't talk to me about it. Just know, put it in your calendar at April 21st. Okay, that's gonna be a national one, 7 o'clock Eastern. The one here is going to be in person. So I'm doing every other one in person. And I got to do it at a brewery because they get feisty on me if I don't have a drinks in their hand and wine, beer and wine and food. Those are three major things you need to have. But I got a big announcement next Tuesday. We've been working on it for 2 months. Renz, Jay, and I, 2 months we've been putting this thing freaking together. We created, I'm just going to tell you what it is, but you're gonna have to be here to hear it though. We created a song, an intro song for the Mindset Show through Sono and a video. So it's kind of going to be like a TV show when you come into here now when we do it. And we got to always have the countdown. So I'm pretty excited. We've listened to it several different times. Renz did a fabulous job with it. So, but we will put that on there. Our first release will be on Tuesday. So it's pretty cool. It's got some energy to it. And if you don't like it, just shut your mouth because we worked really hard on it. Okay. Just pretend you like it. It's like kind of one of those songs. Maybe it has to grow on you. Be like, I didn't really know. No, just let it grow on you. Listen to it a little bit. Okay. So, with that being said, let's get into our affirmation. Oh, first and foremost, let me just say my little introduction because some of you don't know me, but most of you do. But it's not the same if I don't say the intro because I always tell our leaders like you always want to do an intro, get everybody, so people who know don't know you. So, good morning, everybody. My name is Coach Brock Zeevan. I'm a life coach, business coach, real estate coach, and yes, I still do real estate. Most importantly, I'm a DAD, and I am just very blessed and thankful to be here and lead with you all on what seems to be what Chad Free likes to say, Brock the Rock Talks. It actually is one of my podcasts that we are putting together. Actually, have it. I think it's on Spotify and some different things. The team's been working on it, but you can go Brock the Rock Talks with all our shows, as well as my YouTube channel. You can watch all our recordings, our Figured Out Fridays, all that stuff is in my YouTube channel. So feel free, and Grace will put that information on there. While we're doing that, and Grace is messing around because she's got a multitask. Grace says to me before I clicked over, this is what she says to me, Coach. She goes, better be a good show today. I was like, okay. I was like, that's right the last thing I heard before I came on today. She goes, better be a good show today. I was like, all right, Grace, I will make sure I do that. So, not laying Grace down. I want you all to come off of mute. Grace, get that affirmation up there. Get that affirmation up there. So, as Grace told me, it better be a good show. I'm going to say to you, you better have a good voice on today to be able to share this with us. And I want you to say it. So come off of mute, come off of mute. On the count of three, we're all going to say it together. One, two, and three.
Something
Something
good
good
is
is
going to
going to
happen
happen
to
to
me.
me.
Something good is
Something
going to happen to
good
me.
is
Something
going
good
to
is going to
happen through
happen
me.
through me.
Yes, yes, and yes. Does anybody else have like a hydrogen water? I tell you, it has really made a difference in my inflammation and different things yeah, just look it up, John. I know John Hart's going to do it right now. Um, hydrogen water. So you got to buy one of these things that make the hydrogen in the water, but it's been really good. Bryce now does it with me. Him and I have hydrogen water. He's like, Dad, could I have some hydrogen water? I said, Bud, you certainly can. I hope you always ask that for me the rest of your life and don't even think about the other clear stuff that makes you go crazy because I did that for many years. It's just a matter of time until he finds out that little potion. But anyways, Rob. So today's topic is it's one of my favorite stories in the Bible. Um, and some of you shared it with me last week where I don't know where my calling is. So Bryce goes to First Communion on Mondays, and I take him to church, and it's kind of like one of those time periods in life or time periods that I think the school does it or whoever sets up meetings does it on purpose because they don't want the parents to be late. So it's like, let's only make the meeting an hour and 15 minutes. Not long enough that they can go home and go to the store or do something. Let's just make it like short enough time period where like really they have to like really wait in the parking lot. And so, like, that's really what happens because by the time if I was to drive home, I'd be home for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Like, I drive back to pick them up. And so started spending time in the parking lot. And no joke, one of the times, this was, I don't know, many months ago, I looked in my rear view mirror while I was in the parking lot and like the cross was there. And I was just like, all right, God. God's probably like, hey, you're in the parking lot. Why don't you just come into my house? Why don't you just come into church and hang out with me for a little bit? So like literally, that's what I do when I have an opportunity is I go into the church and I've been saying a lot of prayers recently and maybe somebody else is doing the same thing. Put a five in the chat, maybe so that way I don't feel alone on this. And even if you're not, maybe you could just put a five to make me feel good and warm and fuzzy. But like I'm just trying to find some direction. How many of you are trying to find some direction? Like, am I what I'm really doing? Like, am I putting if like do I have too many lanes open? Do I have like should I be doing coaching? Should I be doing speaking? Should I be writing this book? Should I be doing real estate? Should I be like what is it that I should be freaking doing? And what am I really good at? And then it goes into like me asking the question of like, God, what do you want me to do? Because I learned at a certain point that it's just not all about what Brock wants to do. It's what you want me to do and what that looks like. And so I've been going through this process a lot lately. And one of my favorite topics in the Bible is when Jesus is out there on the boat and they're all fishing and he tells them to go to the other side of the boat. Now, I'm foreshadowing here, one of my big English words that I've used. Like I fail at English, but I always remember foreshadowing. And so that's my foreshadowing because I'm going to give you five things, five concepts today. Because, like three or five. I'm going to give you five concepts today for those that take notes. And that's actually the fifth one is about this boat. And so the rest of them are about understanding where you might need a pivot. And we might be fighting that. And we might be going through that, being like, I just don't know. And so when I was at church, I was been thinking, I'm like, what is it that I'm supposed to pivot or turn to? So here's the five key points that I want to share with you about pivoting. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. Number three and number four, I think are the most important, but I got to do number one and number two because that's what came in my head first. And then when I started kind of digging into it, I was like, ooh, that's a good one too. So the first one is I want this is going to be a question, and then I'll give you I wrote the question down, then I'll give you the topic. Just because I'm moving doesn't mean I'm progressing. Just because I'm moving doesn't mean I'm progressing. So the question is, am I advancing? Am I actually advancing? Am I moving the needle? How many of us, this is what you can write down, how many of us, I'm working hard, but I'm going in circles? I'm working hard, but I seem to be going in circles. I say many times in the real estate industry, like, oh, I'm on 7 years, I've been 4 years. I said, well, is this your seventh year in real estate or your seventh first year? Which one is it? Because many times we get stuck at the first year and we just halt there and we never get past the next level. And so I always write this down, rocking chair, wheelchair. A lot of movement. Both are chairs. Both can move, meaning you're going back and forth or you requires energy. But a rocking chair, you stay in the same place. A wheelchair actually allows you to move. And sometimes we mistake our movement, our busyness for progression. Some of us are in the same situation over and over and over again. So I ask you, are you advancing? And if you're not advancing, where can I look? What can I read? Who can I talk to help me advance to get to where I need to get? Number two, okay, this one has to do with insanity. Maybe the answer is not more effort. Maybe the answer is in a pivot, is in a turn. How many of us have heard this? It happened like you were in a previous relationship and you're like, damn, my first wife, holy smokes, it was got off. It was terrible. Boy, this one's really easy. This one seems to be a lot simpler. Doing this with you is a lot easier. Working at this company is so much easier. Doing the same job, same title, but this company's easier, right? There's more alignment, not assignment. I truly believe at some point God's going to put me in churches to speak to people about relationships and with single mothers and fathers and how to help them with children and going through divorce. But I say that many times in our relationships, I think this is why the divorce rate's so high and people can say whatever they want. I got the microphone, as Chad says, so I can say it. Is I think many times in relationships, we're assigned. And it's usually because somebody set us up and then we feel bad. And then next thing you know, we're like in four dates already. Then we're just like, or we met him at a bar drinking and we had sex first and then we started to figure him out. And we try to go that way. We did it backwards. And it's not until like usually 10 or 20 years later, you're just like, this happens a lot right now. I'm hearing more and more of it. People get divorced is because their children were raised and now they're by themselves. And it's just the husband and the wife. And they're like, well, we're not really, we got nothing really in common. We don't really have too much. And it's just because we never worked on ourselves. We never had alignment. I mean, we never had alignment. We were always assigned to be here, do this, do that. And when you have alignment, it becomes very different. And so what happens is it's not so much when the harder you work. You know, how many of you heard this line? Put a five in the chat. Work smarter, not harder. Work smarter, not harder. It doesn't matter that you put in 15 hours a day. If you're not freaking getting where you need to get, what's the point? Understand that there's a opportunity maybe that you're missing. Bishop Jakes talks about, sometimes we're like, well, if I just if I get a new job, let me start all over. Let me get a new marriage. Let me get a new car, new clothes. I could tell you this, that if I put Chet in a Lamborghini, I don't know how Chet drives. I'm just looking at Chet right here. But if I put Chet in a Lamborghini, I gotta believe he's probably gonna drive really fast, maybe the first couple times. Outside of that, when he probably drives the car around for about a month, he's probably not going to drive as fast because you're like, well, damn, this freaking like my gas is like it's a gas guzzler because I want to floor it every single time. I've gotten 17 speeding tickets. I mean, that was fun for a little while, but I'm going to go back to what I'm comfortable with. And so until you change the person, the driver, it doesn't matter what you drive. It doesn't matter what you wear. It doesn't matter what environment. Because it didn't matter that if I moved myself, trust me, my previous marriage, I tried a new house. We had a child. We changed the way that we pretended to be something different in a country club mentality. We tried all the bells and whistles. But what we weren't trying is changing ourselves and working on ourselves. And until you decide to do that, insanity is going to take place and doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Write this down. Nothing changes if nothing changes. It's point blank. That's just how it is. Number three, I told you this one was one of my good ones. This one's really important, I think, and I see it happen many, many times. Many of today's reactions and your decisions happen from previous experiences and yesterday's wounds. Okay? We look at previous things. Okay? Maybe it was a relationship. Maybe it was a relationship with your mother, your father. You know, how many of you knew, like, I remember when I was a child, like, I never asked my dad any help with homework. Because when I asked my dad for homework help, it was like an hour project. I just had one question, Dad, but he would sit down with me. I remember back in the day, how many of you put a five in the chat? Remember how do you go get the Encyclopedia Britannica, Brock? I think it's going to be volume three. Volume three. Pull it out. Dad, I just want to know about cats. Like, that's all I want to know about. I don't need to know the whole history of the cat formation, what took place, the feline. Like, it's like, I don't need that. Nope, we're gonna pull out a draft. We're gonna pull out a draft and go to volume three and get the and you know what? We might need volume four for the Britannica. And you have to go upstairs and it was always at the bottom of the closet and I'd have to do it. And then my other siblings would see me. They're like, oh, you asked Dad a question, didn't you? Shut up, leave me alone. I gotta do this homework assignment. Right? So like you remember that. So like even today's day, I'm like, oh God, I gotta talk to my dad about a situation. And I know it's not gonna be easy. He's gonna ask me about 27 questions. My mom, though, she was like, boom, this is what you do. This is what you got. Ready? Okay, done. Get out of here. Yes, ma'am. But I would make today's decisions based off of my upbringing and what happened in those experiences. I was working with a client yesterday, and this was a novation and a wholesale, and she had like 12 different offers come through on this property. And I gave her an option on the wholesale before I can even let it out, let the cat out of the bag. Oh no, I'm not doing it. I was like, ma'am, you don't even know. But she was using previous experiences to make today's decisions, no matter how good my number was or might have been. Some of you today are nervous about maybe you went bankrupt in a situation or your credit cards or whatever it might be. You're making financial decisions based off of previous experiences that happened to you. Like, oh, last time I did this, it just flundered and I just flopped. Well, I'm sure something like Sherry, she does a lot of investing. If she based everything on like making future bids and future things on a deal that failed, she will never make another offer again. Like, well, last time I tried to do the paint, the carpets, and read everything, like I just bellied up. I didn't make any money. So you know what? I'm never investing again. Forget about it. Like, no. So understand that you got to explore that and understand what it could be leading into, what's causing it. But you can't do it if you don't give yourself private time to have the conversation. Number four, okay? Here's the question. Do I embrace people, principles, and accountability when it's convenient for me? Convenience can distort our character. Convenience can distort our character. And what happens is, I'm a very big believer of this because somebody said it to me. Justin Ford said it to me, Latrice. He says, well, him and I were talking. His was mental, his with his physical health on losing weight, and mine was financial health. And we came to the conclusion that if you know Justin, like he's very disciplined and I've been fortunate. One of my great attributes is I'm disciplined. But when I got hit with this with a two by four, is this. I'm disciplined when it's convenient. I'm disciplined when it's convenient. How many of us are disciplined when it's convenient for us? How many of us have no problem? Oh, yeah, I'll go talk to that person. Why? Because you don't mind that person. That person works well for you. I ask you to do a hard conversation tonight for those at the study hall. I'm going to make you fricking do something that's going to be so uncomfortable. You're going to be scared out of your mind. But until you get into that position and feel uncomfortable and not convenient, some of you are already scared now. Like, maybe I'm not going to go tonight. Maybe I'm not too sure about this. But I promise you, at the other side of that, you're going to be like, you know what? That was the coolest thing. Wow, I have some really great material now that I could put on Facebook to showcase how uncomfortable my armpits completely sweating, my butt cheeks were clenched, and I was so nervous about that. I was like, damn. Just like John Root when he's going to go kill that moose or whatever that thing is, right? I guarantee you he's going to be cool, calm under pressure because he's been there before. I make John Root do something that he never been before. That could be the simplest little thing. Like, John, I want you to, I don't know, I'd say public speaking, but he talks in front of a lot of people. But if I force him to make, or we were going through a CMA, and I said to him, I said, well, you break down the numbers first. Well, let's have a conversation about that. Putting people in uncomfortable positions like you presented. If you have uncertainty, it's going to make you uncomfortable. And if it's not convenient for you, you're kind of going to fray away from that. I don't even know if that's a word, but I'm going to use it anyways. Fray away from that. Just use what you want with that, Fred. Fray away from it. Here's my last one. Okay. Sometimes our miracle and our opportunities are on the other side of the boat. Our miracle and our opportunities are on the other side of the boat. Put a five in the chat if you've been on a cruise. Put a five in the chat if you've been on a cruise before. Put a five in the chat if you've been on a long car ride and you hear people say, or a train ride, oh, God, look over here. Look. And you're like, I'm on the other side. I can't see it. I missed out on that. I didn't see that experience. Many of us in this story, that the disciples, they're all hanging out. They go out in the water. They have an all-nighter. I don't know what they're doing out there, but I'm sure there's some wine and some fun activities going on. But they're all fishermen, okay? And they're out there on the boat. All one boat. They go out there fishing all the time. They're fishermen for crying out loud. So they're experienced. We're all professionals in real estate, professionals in our field. These are all professionals in an environment, and they're out fishing all night, diddly squat, nothing. They come back in exhausted. And in the story, they see Jesus sitting on the sand with the fire, and he's cooking some fish. And they get off the boat, and he's like, "Psst, yo, Peter, get over here. What are you guys doing?" Well, we just got done fishing, caught nothing. Meanwhile, envision this. He's cooking what they were trying to catch. You don't really understand that part of the story because it says it goes really fast. But in our world, there's somebody else who's living our dream and somebody else who has our vision that they're living it out. And we're trying to go chase it and catch it and do everything. How many of you put a five in the chat? I've seen somebody like, that's what I want to do. I want to live that lifestyle. I want to do that. I want to grow into that. Maybe some perspective in some certain way. That's what I want to do. And I see it and I taste it and I touch it. And that's what God was doing. Like he's sitting there. Jesus is sitting there on the beach. Hey, that's it. Let's get on back on the boat. How many of you are doing something, you're exhausted, you're tired, and you don't want to do it? I can tell you this morning at the gym, it was cold out this morning. It was windy out this morning. I'm freaking sore as can be from running the other day. The last thing I wanted to do was freaking go on that damn treadmill. I can tell you that right now. But I knew the first thing that would affect me is being on this show today because I will never make anybody do anything that I'm not willing to do. I will I won't tell you to wake up a minute past 3:57 if I'm not willing to do it. I won't make you run sore if I'm not willing to do it. I won't make you stay up 23 hours out of the 24 hours of sleep an hour just to get up to sleep 2 hours and get back at it and do it. I'll never make anybody do it. I'll never make you work sick unless I go through it. But God tells him to go on the boat and says, hey, let's go back fishing the exact same spot with the same bait, the same fish, with the same nets, the same boat, and the same waters. He doesn't even say we're going to go to a different spot. He takes them to the same exact place. And they're going fishing. He's like, what were you guys doing? And they're all on the same side of the boat, and they're all doing it. And he says, why don't you just do it on this side? And we already come up with excuses inside of our head because we're just like, well, I'm just not too sure. And I don't know, we've already been there and that seems scary. And that side of the boat doesn't fit well. And if we're all over there, it could flip. And the water conditions, like we have all these excuses in our head. I'm too old. I'm not experienced enough. I don't have enough money. I'm talking to somebody right now because they keep saying these excuses over and over and over in their head. I got this. I don't have this. I don't know how to say this. I don't have a podcast. I don't have a website. Blah. He says, just cash smoke. And in the story, and I got to end it. And in the story, they come back with so much fish of abundance that the boat barely can hold everything. It is barely afloat as it gets into the dock. And what happens in the story is sometimes we just got to go to the other side of the boat. In our life, we just got to go to the other side. We got to have that faith that it's going to work out. It's going to be fine. We got to go through and max out that credit card because if we know that if we go to this position, yes, it might be stressful. Because why do I say credit cards? Because more and more people live off their credit cards. And it's scary when you're trying to work on yourself and your credit cards are near max. I could tell you I've done it numerous of times and I'm still here. Okay. I'm breathing. I'm alive. But in those time periods, it put me in rooms and put me in relationships. It got me into coaching and dealing with mentors. Right now, I'm personally texting, if those that know Andy Elliott, and having a conversation with the guy, voice messaging back and forth because we're the same age. The guy freaking is like $100 million earner, and he's talking to me like we're best friends, whether or not it's a sales pitch or not. But I've got to give the guy credit. If you're making that much money and you want to talk to me, how many other thousands of people are you talking to even spend time with me? Meant a lot to me. How many of you are taking time to talk to other people and listening in and pivoting and churning? Damn, it's 8:48. All right, everybody. I talked too much in the beginning. Sorry about that. I just get all riled up. I get all riled up. Belinda. What up, Belinda? Guys, if you got something out of today, put me in the chat. Put me in the chat. If you got something out of today in some capacity, in some way that you were able to take something and put it into your life, put it into your perspective, share it with somebody else in some way, in some capacity, in some form. Today's the day you're going to pivot. Today's the day you're going to churn. Today's the day you're going to go to the other side of the boat. Today's the day that you're going to stop living in insanity. Today's the day that you are going to stop living off previous experiences and you're going to head front it face on, and you're going to do whatever the hell it takes to get over whatever it is that it is getting in your way. For those of you that are going to be with us today, if you're within an hour, I promise you tonight's study hall will be something like you've never imagined it before. If you could change your schedule to be there, I'm going to tell you that you should be here. I'm going to make you do some crazy things. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a great time. So we'll put the link in the chat. I look forward to seeing everybody tonight for those that can make it. And for those of you who can't, I look forward to seeing you next month on our national study hall that we will do Zoom online, a little sipping and having some fun for those of you who can't. Until then, I appreciate you all. God bless you. Thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 8:15 with our main man, Mr. Cullen. Join me on the YouTube if you want to listen to it more in the show notes because I just looked at the link. Till then, see ya.
Brock, what time is the study hall tonight?
What's that?
What time is the study hall tonight?
Fred, unless you live in Charlotte, but it's at 7 o'clock. You got to get in your car now, bud.
Got you.
All right,
Get the
all.
next flight out.
Yeah, fly out. There you go. They got the lines down now. They got the lines down now. They got ice out there. They got the line. Oh, I'm not gonna get that started. Get everybody fired up over here. All right, all. Have a good one. See y'all.